Hi friends, it's Amanda here from Fun Hands-On Learning. In today's video, we're going to take a look at our homeschool routines. So if you're new to my channel, I am a mom of 8 boys and we homeschool our kids. So I wanted to my homeschool planner really quick and show you some new pages that I made to help us keep on track and to give you an idea of what our routine looks like. Now, this year, my oldest 2 children are actually going to a private school. They're teenagers, so they're not in our mix as far as homeschooling goes, but they've been homeschooled their entire life until this point. But those 2 are going to a private Christian school this year, and then so I have the other 6 here at home that I'm homeschooling. And I really only have to plan for 5 of them because the baby's only a 1.5 years old. So, but he does need to be considered in my planning because he's part of the mix, right? So he is, considered, but I don't have to plan any specific homeschool things for him. So anyways, I'm going to give you kind of an update on my planner and then go through our homeschool routines. So if that interests you, let's get started. Okay friends, here you are looking at my homeschool planner. I have changed the cover since the last time I showed you it, and I put a little picture on the front of just some of the kiddos that I am currently teaching. And then I'm opening up to our current week that we're about to get started with. So this will be next week, and basically what I do is I have days of the week on this side, and then I put the names of the children that I am planning for, let me get this out of the way, up on the top. So I have the 5 that I need to plan for here, and I have them in order by age. And then I have a little section for some to-dos, and then I made these little things that say Bible, science, history, and read alouds on my computer, and then I printed them on label paper so I can just kind of stick them on here because I like to have, our Bible always stays the same except for whatever story or biblical passage that we are reading, and so I want to have a little box for that to put that in there, but I wanted to also have these check off lists because we always do like our worship songs, prayer, our catechism, and then after our reading, we sometimes work on our Awana. My 3 of my kids go to Awana, and so at our church. So sometimes we work on our verses during a Bible time as well. So I like to have this. So this is just like a little sticker that I made on my computer, and I stick that on. I actually have extras, which I will show you in a little bit in the back. Of those so that I can just, each week I can just stick that on there. And then I also made these stickers here. They're all things that we do as a family, and so I just need one little section to kind of write in what we're going to do for the week. So that's what this is, and same thing with Bible, we do Bible as a family. And I will get into that in a minute, but that's basically how I have it laid out. Now, what I have currently been doing is I have been leaving most of this blank. And then when we start our week, I write in, I kind of reverse plan and I write in what the kids have done. Okay, so that's pretty much our layout for now. So let me just kind of get into what I wanted to talk about in this video, which is our homeschool routine. So I decided to make a little half sheet here that I could pop into my planner. This is a happy planner, by the way. So I punched it and I pop it into my planner like this, so you can, I can move it around. So then next week when I turn to the next page, I can just pop it in again and so on. But this is laminated, and then that way I can use some wet erase markers. I have this set here of wet erase markers. I wouldn't want to use dry erase markers because they might rub off and get all over my planner. So I use the wet erase markers, and then I can check off as we do things on a daily basis. So this is our basic routine for my older children. By older, I mean my older elementary school children. I have 3rd grader and a 2nd grader, and then I have kindergarten and preschool kids. So this is more for the older ones. My teenagers, like I told you earlier, they go to a private school, so they're not in the mix. So this is for basically my 3rd grader and my 2nd grader. Okay, so what our routine is First, we have family time. So that's for all 6 of the kids that I'm homeschooling. We have family time, and we do Bible. So that includes our worship songs and our prayer. And then we do a read aloud. I usually read a little bit to the kids, and then sometimes we do calendar with the little kids. My older ones are kind of past that, but sometimes we'll do that together, but I have that written on here just in case. But we have like a little family get together, and that's when we do Bible and that kind of thing. My older 2, they must get right into their handwriting. They do that completely on their own. Now when they get into that, what I do with my little one, I'm going to flip over here. So the back side is where I wrote down what I do with my pre-K and kinder kids. And theirs is much shorter because it's different, obviously, because they're much younger. So they do family time with us, like I said, but then when my older ones are starting their handwriting, that's like an on their own kind of thing. I start the hands-on activities with my pre-K and kinder kiddos. So these are the activities that you guys have been seeing in my videos a lot. So while my older ones are working on their handwriting, I start hands-on activities with my younger ones. When they're done with all of their hands-on activities, we move on to our books and our workbooks. So what I mean by that is books just means I read to them. So I pick out some books and I read to them. And then workbooks, we don't always do this, but sometimes we'll do like, workbook means anything that has to do with paper and pencil or paper and crayons or that kind of thing. So you guys have seen I have like dot pages that we do for the alphabet and that kind of thing. So some of these are pages that I've created, and then some of them are just, you know, workbook pages that I find in other curriculum. So we don't always do this every day. We do the handwriting or the hands-on activities every day, and we do family time every day. So these 2 things definitely get done. Oh, and I do always read to them every day, but the workbook pages are if we can get around to it. More my kindergartner does this kind of stuff. Now, by me saying kindergarten, he's technically pre-K / kindergarten because he has special needs. This is my kiddo with Down syndrome that I'm talking about. And so he's not quite ready for kindergarten. He's 6. He's not quite ready for kindergarten, but he does do some kindergarten things. So his routine is pretty much the same as my preschooler's routine. But if I actually had a kindergartner who was ready for kindergarten, his routine might be a little bit longer than this. And then the last thing I have on here is technology. Every once in a while, I allow the kids to go on and do learning-based technology things like reading eggs or spelling. Well, my older ones do Spelling City where they can practice spelling words, that kind of thing. And then down here, I just decorated this with a little Bible verse. It says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. I love this verse, having it right here, because it reminds me every single day that with God's help, we can do it. We can get through our school day, even though it's crazy and difficult sometimes, especially for us mamas. We can make it, we can do it, and it's all worth it. So getting back to my older kids' routine, so they do their handwriting and then they start their phonics and language while I'm doing hands-on activities with the little ones. They also might even get into their spelling all on their own. I do tend to like to do some hands-on activities every once in a while with them for phonics and language. And so if it's a day I want to do that, then I do a little bit less hands-on activities with my preschoolers because I focus more on them. So it just kind of depends. My older kids here don't do as much hands-on things as my younger ones. My younger ones, their main focus is the hands-on activities. That's really mostly how we learn with the little ones. With the older ones, they obviously have more in-depth work that they have to do. So a lot of that can be done on their own while I'm working with the little kids. So that's what this is. So they know what they have to do, and then they get into their spelling. I usually have to give them a spelling test or help them with practicing their spelling words and that kind of thing sometimes. And then math is almost always when I'm ready to just work with these kids and I'm done with the little kids. So for math, I have on here that we do our warm-up, our time tests, and then we do our lesson. And that's pretty much how it is. And one of these days, I'm going to do a video on what our math warm-ups are like, because I know a lot of you have been kind of interested in how we do that. I've talked about it previously. We also do warm-ups for phonics. And so if you're interested, I kind of want to do a video showing you guys what we do for phonics and math warm-ups. I don't always do the phonics warm-ups, so I don't have it here listed, but a lot of times we do like to do those if I'm not too involved with my preschoolers doing hands-on activities. But math, we almost always do warm-ups, and we do time tests. So we practice like our multiplication facts and our addition, subtraction, all of those facts that the kids need. We do time tests to get the kids quicker at it before we actually start into our lesson. So math is kind of more involved, so I'm always with the kids when we do that. And then reading, by reading, I just mean this is their independent reading time where they need to be reading their books. And then I do go over comprehension questions with them every single day. Then here we do either science or history. I just pick one for the day. I used to have like a schedule where we do like science on Mondays and history on Tuesdays and so on and so forth. But then I just found it's just easier just to go back and forth, or to find if we're really interested in something, we'll focus on it. So for example, if we get really into whatever we're working on in science, if it's insects or something, then we just kind of continue on for the whole week and we'll work on it for the whole week. It just depends on how my kids are doing with it. And then the next week we'll do history, or we might switch every other day and one day do history and one day do science, like that. It just kind of depends on where we're at in the lessons and how we want to do it. We do one of those a day. And then the last thing on here I have is technology. I don't always make my kids do technology, but I do have a keyboarding curriculum that I have them do. So they do have to do their keyboarding where they're learning to type. And then other than that, they can do reading eggs or spelling city to practice their spelling words. But I don't have, it's not like a requirement, but we do it every once in a while. So that is pretty much our routine. Now, does it always go wonderfully, and am I always just like the happiest mom at the end of the day? No, and there's a lot of variables as well, because like on Thursdays, 2 of my kids have speech therapy, and then on Tuesdays we go to a Bible study group with homeschool kids, and so there's a lot of extra things that we also do that might conflict with our typical daily routine. But for the most part, if it's just a regular homeschool day, this is what our routine pretty much looks like. So I hope that makes sense. Now, if you're looking for a sheet like this that you can fill out and write your daily routines, I have made, well, by the time you see this video, I will have posted this on my website for free. So you can go download it, and then you can print it out and type up or write in what your routine might look like. So you can do with it what you will, but I made mine like a half sheet. You could make it a full sheet for your planner, however you want to do it, but I liked laminating it so I could, you know, put it on each week. And then the other thing that I created was this sheet. This says hands-on activities for this week. These sheets I'm so excited about because I'm going to start listing out the hands-on activities that I want my kids to do for that week. So especially for my younger kids, when you see my hands-on activity videos, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to list out like what each of those are that I have prepared. Now, I tend to prepare them for 2 weeks. So when you see those videos, that's usually what we're doing for the next 2 weeks. And so I will probably be using the same sheet for 2 weeks, and then I'll make a new one. But basically, I'm going to list them all here, and then I can kind of check them off when we're done with them. But also, that way I can just write down if we've done it or not in their little box. So let's say Monday we did our counting bin activity. Okay, let's just say that. Then I can write that, if Seth did that, I can write that down on here, and then I can check it off on my list. But at least I have a list, because before I was trying to write them in here like what I wanted him to do, but if we didn't get it done, then I'm writing it again and writing it again. So this way I just have a list for the whole week, or for 2 weeks, really, it'll probably be. And then I can kind of see where we're at, and I can just write it down as he completes them, if that makes sense. So I'll be doing that. So I'll have my whole list here, and then I'll be just writing down for the kids when they complete them and what day. So So yeah, so this will also be in the free download if you want one of these for your planner, okay? So this hands-on activity sheet and this routines sheet will also be available. Now, I did not laminate my hands-on activity sheet because I'm not going to be using the same. I'm only going to be using it for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to be grabbing a new one. So let me show you here in the back of my planner. I have a folder. Okay, and then in my folder, I just have ones that are already made. And basically all I did was I printed them on label paper and then used them like as a big long sticker and stuck them to these half sheet Happy Planner sheets. You don't have to do it that way. You could actually just print it out as a full sheet. You could print it out and then punch it yourself and make just, you don't have to have these half sheets that are already made from the Happy Planner, but I did because it had cute little flowers on them, so I thought it was kind of cute. So anyways, I made a bunch of them up. That way for the rest of the school year, for the next, like, I'll need one for every 2 weeks. So for the rest of the school year, I should have enough. And then here you can see just the ones that I printed out for, you know, our Bible and our science. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, my printer was not working very well, and so that's why it looks like this. But when you, well, you won't, I probably won't have this in the download because this is kind of more specifically for me. But when you get your download, if you go download the free download, then you won't have those colors on it. And I will leave the link to the free download in the description box below. And also, if you already have purchased any of my other planner downloads, there's one big Homeschool Planner download. If you've purchased that, you can just go back to that and all of these new things that I've added will be there for you to download. So if you already have it, you can just go ahead and get these that way. Hey guys, it's Mandy here. I completely forgot to show you something in my video. So this is a clip from a totally different day from when I filmed this video, and I'm going to insert this clip somewhere into the video. But what I forgot to show you was the daily routines that I had for my older kiddos. So my school-aged kiddos that are not high school, but are able to go ahead and be self-sufficient and kind of on their own. I want them to have their own daily routine sheets. So even though I have this routine sheet in my planner, this is for me to keep me on track, but I have the same kind of thing set up for my 2 school-age kids that are able to keep track of their own things. So my other kiddos are too young to keep track of their own, but this kind of makes my older ones independent. Basically, they are this, except I added in AM and PM routines. So, for example, when they get up in the morning, they need to eat breakfast, they need to brush their teeth and clean up the bathroom. They need to do some chores. The kids drink milk and water, and then their special treat is Gatorade every once in a while. We have the powdered Gatorade that we make for the kids because, you know, with a family of 8 kids, we have a family of 10. So it's crazy because we go through a lot of drinks. So we usually have to make new Gatorade every day. So I have that here. Sometimes we don't have to, and so they wouldn't have to do that, or they could do it later on in the day. But I have them make it usually. Then they need to help me clean up the kitchen because the little ones make gigantic messes when they're eating breakfast and all of that. So we need to clean that up before we start school. And then the other thing is just to kind of help their little brothers. Their little brothers might need help, you know, cleaning up their cereal or whatever it is that the little brothers need before we start school. So those are kind of their AM routines. Then we start school, and this here is the same thing as I have over here, so that they have their own way to kind of check off what we've done and make sure they're keeping on track of what they need to be getting done. And then after school, they need to do these things. So these are basically, these are the same, by the way. So this one is for James and this one is for Mark. And so one of them needs to help sweep the kitchen floor. And then they need to just really quick wipe down the windows and appliances on the main level. They need to sometime in the evening clean up their room before bed. It usually doesn't get too bad, but they need to clean up their rooms. And then they also need to clean up the basement. So in the basement we have a playroom, a pretty big playroom, and so they need to just at least, you know, tidy up. And by clean up, I don't mean like clean, like I don't mean vacuum and dust or any of that. I just mean tidy up. So just pick things up off the floor, make sure, you know, it's not a complete mess. And then the last thing is they need to brush their teeth and take their shower before they go to bed. So one thing you will notice is that I do not have any times on here. So I don't have like, this is the time we're going to do this, and this is the time we're going to do this, because I have noticed over the 9 years that we've been homeschooling that homeschooling is not like regular schooling. So when I was a classroom teacher, we had strict times, like phonics started at, you know, 8:30, and then, you know, by 9:25 we were doing spelling and whatever it was. That is not how our homeschool day looks. Our homeschool day is just pretty much relaxed. We get up, and hopefully my goal is to have to start school by 9 a.m. Sometimes, just depending on, you know, how our morning and day is going, it doesn't. But usually this year it has been, because since my oldest two teenagers are going to school, that kind of forces us all to get up because they have to be at school by 8. So if they're at school by 8, then I'm usually doing breakfast and that kind of thing with the younger 6 kids. And then we're able to start school by 9. So generally that's been the plan. But however long it takes us is however long it takes us. Now, it usually doesn't take us too long, not too much longer than lunchtime. So we can usually get through most of this stuff by lunchtime. And then, by the way, I know you guys saw my preschool and kindergarten list as well. So they can pretty much get done with their stuff within an hour, hour and a half, because they're so little. These guys usually takes a couple of hours to get through all of their schooling, but their AM stuff, this is just like maybe an hour's worth of things: eating breakfast, brushing their teeth, and helping out. And then their PM stuff is not much more than an hour of stuff either, really. So, I mean, sweeping the kitchen floor, they can take turns on that. I mean, that doesn't take them very long. And wiping down windows, I usually just give them something to wipe them down really quick, and the appliances, because, you know, fingerprints all over appliances and stuff. So at least if somebody's wiping them down once a day, that helps, because I can't do everything. I have so much to do. So they all have to pitch in, and that's kind of how it is in a big family. So, anyways, I just wanted to show you guys these because I forgot about them, because I had them on my refrigerator when I filmed the video, and because that's kind of where I keep them, and then they can just use dry erase markers to check them off. So that's what those are. And then once my other kiddos here get a little bit older and are able to be more self-sufficient, they'll get one too. Anyways, these routine lists are also available in the free download. So if you want this, it's gonna look like this, and then you can go in and edit it. As long as you have Adobe Acrobat Pro version, you can go in and you can just change it up. I didn't put any kind of password on it or anything. So you should be able to download it for free and then just change all of this to what you want it to be. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions about our daily routines and how it all works, and you want me to go more in depth, let me know. And yeah, be sure to go hop over to my store and get these, you know, free downloads if you're interested. And yeah, maybe one of these days I'll go back through and I will do like a planner flip through and kind of show you what we've been doing lately and how it's been working for us. But this is it, guys. I will see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.